They're actually mountain people and they're lovely. And he said to me when we were talking, he said, I don't want that property developed, what's the deal? And I said, it's mine and it's not gonna get developed.
There, we'll go back.
So when they diagnosed
You're
me
right
last
about
year
there.
with Alzheimer's, I said, I'm trying to get everything, all the ducks in. I said, would you guys?
Okay, we're gonna recontinue the meeting, thank you.
So I got it.
And I'm back. Third time's the charm. All right, so this is that chart I was explaining to you guys. So your Firewise Community Committee. So that's one of the first steps you guys are gonna take is creating a committee. Like I said, you will have a resident leader, but you do want a committee to, hold each other accountable and also just make sure that ongoing things like fire education or any kind of community education are taking place. Because we know if a project falls to just one person and it's a large community, it's probably going to lead to burnout at some point. So we want to make sure that we are putting in that good faith community effort in having our community committee. And then the resident leader will submit their paperwork to CAL FIRE and the National Fire Protection Agency. So again, the Kern Fire Safe Council and the Kern County Fire Department, we are here as resources to help you with this process, to make it easier for you guys or to point you in the right direction on the way. Next. And we've touched on this a bit, but some of the benefits of being a Firewise community, we talked about some of the insurance benefits, but the biggest one, of course, is you're helping firefighting efforts, you're helping increase the safety around your home and your neighbors, and you're just increasing that awareness and involvement among your community. Okay, so we can go past this one. Talked about our insurance. All right, so really this is about a 4-step process. So first step, organize your Firewise community. There is a minimum requirement of having 8 dwellings or 8 residents that are involved in your Firewise program. It can go up all the way to 2,500. However, we usually don't recommend that large scale of a community being on one Firewise program. You essentially would kind of want to make it realistic because the bigger it is, the more oversight and involvement you're going to need from your committee, from your community leader. I would say a community that size, you almost need a full-time Firewise person to make sure things are getting done right at every community in that. So you do want to be realistic in what is your actual neighborhood. So when I say a Firewise community, it doesn't have to be the entire community per se. It can be your small neighborhood. It can be a couple blocks in your area. Whatever realistically makes sense to you as neighbors, and that's also where you can consult with either us or the Kern County Fire Department. If you go on Genesis Protect, how many of you guys are on Genesis Protect? A couple people. So if you go on Genesis Protect, you'll see the maps of Kern County, and it has the evacuation zones. It might be wise to even consider those zones as kind of those areas you want to include in your Firewise community. Maybe it's just that zone, maybe it's you and a couple other zones near you that are on a kind of outlying area maybe of your mountain community. But whatever makes sense to you guys, again, we can help you guys to develop what is going to be a realistic map for you guys. So you'll create those boundaries. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Again, we can help with the map, but you can even do it as simple as go on Google Earth, get a picture of your neighborhood or community that you want to do, and just draw a boundary around it. So you do want it to be continuous as well, and you want to avoid checkerboarding. So when you're doing your community creation, you don't want to say, you know what, sorry Kathleen, I'm going to pick on you again. You know what, Kathleen, we don't want Kathleen in our Firewise group because, this is our social club. We're not having Kathleen join us. We're not going to do that, right? We want to make sure it is continuous, and we don't want to checkerboard, leaving neighbors out. And again, it's okay if you have a neighbor that is like, you know what, I'm good. I don't want to be a part of your Firewise community. You can still proceed without that neighbor being involved in it. Really what you would do in that case, the neighborhood, once you're done creating your Firewise community and you have it submitted, you guys will all get certificates to present to your insurance carriers that we are a Firewise community. Those neighbors that aren't participating, don't. Chances are, after about a year or two of seeing that, man, Kathleen keeps getting this discount, I'm jealous, they're probably going to jump on board real quick. And again, I talked about you're gonna wanna form a FireWise committee and then plan it. You'll complete your wildfire risk assessment. So I have handouts. Will, could you model for me that right there, please? So that nice little handout that has a checklist inside that'll help you kind of see what is the assessment that I'm looking for. What am I looking for in my community? Where can we improve as far as, do we have weeds in a certain area that we could cut back? Are there trees over in this area that we could trim up a little bit better? So you're really just making a list of how can we increase our wildfire risk in our FireWise community. And we are, again, a resource to help you with that. We are happy to come out and walk your community with you and point out to you, hey, over here, you guys are gonna want to, make sure that those trees are getting pruned a little bit better. Over here, you have this big area of vegetation that is dead and overgrown. So we're making a list of things that we can improve upon. And then with that, it doesn't have to be an overnight thing. It doesn't even have to be done in a month. What you'll do is create a 3-year plan. So your 3-year plan is essentially, what are we gonna do realistically every year to get closer and closer to the ideal FireWise community? Because you can still work on all these things, you can be an approved FireWise community, but you do still have to, again, continue working on your 3-year plan. So you might say, you know what, realistically in the next 6 months to a year, my neighborhood, our committee has discussed this, we think that we can get all of these dead weeds out of our neighborhood in the next 6 months to a year. That's a realistic goal. In the next year, we're gonna really focus on trees that next year. The year after, we're really gonna focus on home hardening and helping our neighbors maybe make sure that all of their vents are to a certain size. But you can do realistic goals over a 3-year period. Next. And then do it. So you've organized it, you've planned it, now actually do it. So get your neighbors together. I always say food attracts the masses, so consider doing a potluck in your community.
Yeah, and then just one thing to touch on, I know that when it says to submit the application through the portal, that goes to the NFPA, correct?
Yes, I'll get to that one next.
Okay, and then I had a comment regarding
Okay.
regarding that when you're done.
So, first things first, try to hold a community meeting of sorts. Like I said, food attracts the masses. Consider doing a potluck, especially if you have a smaller community that you're looking to get onto FireWise. Something bigger, maybe you want to work here with the clubhouse to see if you can do some big, larger scale event. But essentially, you want to talk with your neighbors, get them on board about this, educate them about what FireWise is, and get that investment from them. And then collectively, you have to commit to 1 volunteer hour per residence in wildfire risk reduction actions. So, I said, down the street, Joe doesn't want to participate in FireWise, but we're going to continue making our FireWise community. So let's say that community that Joe is in, there's 20 homes there. Each resident, basically each resident has to put in an hour a year, so you're looking at 20 hours for that community. I guarantee all of you guys are probably putting in more than 1 hour a year on wildfire mitigation a year. We're talking about trimming trees, trimming those bushes, home hardening, all of those types of actions. So if Kathleen has done, 5 to 6 hours of work around her property, she's already made up for Joe and 4 other people, right? So essentially that's what those hours come down to. It's a collective hour collection, if you will, that will have to be submitted on a yearly basis. So there is a renewal period. It is actually coming up in November. But every year you will have to renew, just like kind of renewing your insurance every year. You'll renew your FireWise community commitment, if you will. You'll log those hours, and that's where your community leader is going to be key. They're going to be the ones that are keeping track of how many hours you are doing in wildfire mitigation. And it doesn't have to be you necessarily. Let's say you hire a contractor to come in and clean up your property. That counts towards those community hours as well. So just keep track of those and keep those things in mind. And remember earlier that video I said it says about $2 or so of I guess money saving. Really, we're coming down to the hours. We're looking at the hours that you're putting into wildfire mitigation, and that's what we're logging. So once once you've done all that, you're gonna apply it. You're gonna submit your FireWise application through the FireWise portal. So you go on to FireWise USA through the National Fire Protection Agency. Again, we're happy to help walk you through that, step by step, meet with you and help you create your portal if you need. And then once you get on there, that community leader, that committee, you guys will take action to log those volunteer hours, log that 3-year plan, and just start that process and then get it going so that you guys can get your certificates and you can start reducing the risk of wildfire in your community. Do you have something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, one thing we had talked about in PMC was potentially having a singular point of contact, right, James? You know, like take in all the FireWise information, you know, and maybe having a repository here so we knew who was in it versus maybe submitting it individually through the NFPA site, like doing it, if it works that way. That was just something that we've talked about, and that way the association knows who's involved versus if we do it this way, they may not have that visibility. So it was just something, I don't know if it's possible that we've talked about what the art of the possible might be.
So that's not something necessarily encouraged with FireWise,
No.
more so because you want it to be a community-based action and program. And remember at the beginning, I talked about it is not a regulatory thing. The only thing we see with why FireWise is not encouraged with HOAs or POAs taking leadership, because then it starts to become more of that regulatory action and you get more of that pushback from community members that choose not to do it. So, and again, you want to make it realistic to where it's realistic to your neighbors that are around you, because you want to know the people that are in your FireWise community. I mean, does anyone in here know every resident of Pine Mountain Club? There's probably a lot of people you don't know in your area, but you probably do know your neighborhood next to you and how to communicate with them and do a phone tree and walk your neighborhood together to make sure that, you know, all of these fire prevention orders are being taken among your community. So that's all I would say. Is it's more, I will say the National Fire Protection Agency does more so encourage it as a community-based.
So neighborhood by neighborhood approach versus.
Yes.
Yeah, we still have neighborhoods doing their own thing, but it's recommended not to collectively go through the POA, but to have them enter the data on their own. Like on our street, we've talked about doing it, or other people on their streets, it's better if they do it themselves. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, I mean, you can always have someone at the POA that is, you know, just sending reminders, hey, the renewal is coming up, make sure that you're getting this taken care of. But it does, again, it's more effective when it's neighborhood by neighborhood and more realistic community areas.
Would it make sense to have like a collective map so we can see who's kind of enrolled?
Yeah, so you remember earlier when I showed you the map of Kern County? So that map is on CAL FIRE and the National Fire Protection Agency. So you can go online. Once you guys have FireWise communities, you can go online and actually see where they are. So you can see that map. And so as soon as a community comes in and they are fully approved, like I said, we have 2 that are in the process and then 4 that are actively starting. Once those 2 are done, you'll see them pop up on the map as soon as we get them all entered in as officially approved. So then those other neighborhoods near them can see, oh cool, you know, over here, Golden Hills and Tehachapi, they're a FireWise community as well. And like I said, you'll go around, you'll do a community wildfire risk assessment. That's where that handout that Will modeled for you will be very helpful for you guys. And that's just helping you really create your 3-year plan. So you know, what areas can we improve on? What are we doing well? And what can we focus on in the next 3 years? Next. And that risk assessment has components, like I said, you're gonna identify your community committee. You're gonna have general information about your community, you know, where it is, the map. And you're also gonna go over local wildfire characteristics. You know, we have a lot of trees here, we have a lot of brush here. Those are things that you're going to list. There's, you know, rolling hills here, there's big mountainy areas. So you wanna make sure you're including that information because we're looking also at what's the topography of the area that a wildfire might come into. Again, those observations as you're walking through, what are things we can improve upon? The zone description, so our zones of zone 0, zone 1, zone 2, we're gonna look at where we can make improvements in those zones. And then you're gonna summarize it and again, with that 3-year plan, have a list of recommendations, what you guys can do as your FireWise community to improve. Next. So there's just an example of the handout that you guys will have. It's not overcomplicated, it's very simple, something that you guys can walk through and do. And this is also, there's a link to it on our website, and I'll give you guys the link at the end as well. And then your observations, those are also going to include what kind of roofing materials do we have on our homes in our community. Soffit vents, the siding, the skirting around the home, are they combustible materials? Are they non-combustible materials? Is there ways that we can retrofit those materials in the next, 3 years or so? Windows, are they double paned? Are they single pane? Do you have roof or gutter debris? And then gutter types, are they vinyl gutters that are going to melt away really quick in a fire? Are they metal? Basically you're going through what are the materials of our home that could potentially be flammable in the event of a fire? And then our zones, we have our immediate zone, that's like 0 to 5 feet, also known as zone 0. We have our intermediate zone, 5 to 30 feet out from the property. And then our extended zone, 30 to 100 feet away from our property. And those are those areas, when we talk about zones and fires getting closer to your home, I do want to emphasize, unfortunately, there's no foolproof thing you can do that is going to guarantee my home is perfectly safe in a wildfire, right? However, you're adding layers of protection to increase your risk of not just yourself, but your home surviving a wildfire. And also you're buying time too for first responders to get there. In the event of a huge disaster in your community, you want to make sure that you get out, and if your property can be protected, our first responders are absolutely going to do that, but they also need the time to do it. So having your areas of defensible space, your zones that are preventing that wildfire from getting closer, it's pushing it out more, that's buying really our first responders that time to protect your property and your home, or to protect lives of people that are still there. Next. And there are 11 different categories. I went over them earlier about those observations. Those are findings that you'll list on your summary of, again, things that you can improve on in your community. Next. And with your application, if you will, when you get onto the portal, you will want to include that boundary map, and you'll discuss your risk assessment in there. So that 3-year action plan, like I said earlier, you're going to lay out a multi-year hazard mitigation plan with the community. What can we do realistically this year? What can we realistically do year 2? Because if you show up at a meeting, you tell your neighbors, hey, you know what, we're going to be a FireWise community, and we want all in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we want you to clear all the brush in front of your house, we want you to cut every tree, we want you to replace every vent in your home with 1/8 area material. If you do all that, it's pretty overwhelming, right? You're probably going to have people leave the meeting real quick and say, this is way too much. I'm not getting involved. You do want to be realistic in the steps that you're taking to become a FireWise community. Next. And then that portal, once the community has been identified, you can go online and create an account through the FireWise portal. And then your resident leader and your committee will start assessing that 3-year plan, do that risk assessment, submit that community map. And then once you have that done and you log some of the more information, you will be approved as a FireWise community if you're doing everything as they ask. So this video is from the Insurance Bureau for Home Safety. And it's a great illustration of, I talked about the different zones. This is a great illustration of that zone 0. So that space 0 to 5 feet by the home. I'm going to show you another video later that talks about embers and how they get into homes and how far they travel. But this is a great example of home hardening. And you can see in the 2 examples just how well one home that has all of those fire prevention measures in place, that home hardening, versus one that has wood siding, maybe has some vinyl material, has some wood chips in front of it. So we're going to watch that example.
We might. I don't feel so bad.
And even if we don't necessarily get the sound to work, we can still watch it and you'll get the gist of the fire.
Oh, we got on your computer.
So we're not gonna have sound, but we'll just keep playing this video and we can watch it. It does have the captions there below. But essentially, this is an engineer for the Insurance Bureau of Home Safety. And he's gonna show you these two fires. And do keep in mind too, this is also in a protected environment, in a warehouse. They do have embers coming out. An ember storm is what they're simulating. But this is still technically in a protected environment. You're not having all the elements that you would, like wind, out in our natural habitats. And something else that I like to point out in this video, if you notice, I mean, our homes are not right next to each other, right? But in this example, we have the home that has had all the home hardening done next to this one that was burning very hot. You see how little damage that home that was right next to it has? So that home too, it does have vegetation in front of it, but it doesn't have it so close to the home that it's allowing embers to spark up against the home. It has those layers of protection on the home, that home hardening, the siding is stronger. The wood on that little deck entryway is treated with a fire retardant material or chemical. And this just is a picture to show you defensible space, it does work. So I was in a class the last 2 days going over home hardening and defensible space, and I've heard a lot about Zone 0 and people questioning why is Zone 0 so important. And I really wish we had the sound for this video to play. We're gonna try to play it and just see if you can kind of get the gist of it, because I think it's a great illustration of why Zone 0 is so important, because Zone 0 is really protecting our homes from embers traveling. We can have Zone 2 and Zone 1 perfectly all aligned and have all that defensible space. However, if we have an ember that gets right up against the home and we have something combustible, it could even be just leaves that have gathered right under our front door after a windstorm, things on the roof. Those are really what lead to those disastrous wildfires that take entire structures down. You see if you can play that Bureau of Land Management video? That last one. Yeah.
Chimney and my carpet cleaned the other day. And while we were there, I got to clean my gutters because I was.
Let me see if I can get sound real quick.
Okay.
People were there, they usually.
I'm prepared to self-narrate if I have to. I remember what I said.
Will's had time to prepare his song and dance for his videos, so he'll be more entertaining than me when his videos don't work.
Just need someone to play tap the other end.
I got you.
It was an insurance thing. The oak trees were not an issue, except that they grow up over the fence. Except for the ones in the back of the house there.
I think it's working a little bit. Yeah, I think this is last time.
They pulled it, hang
Just
it.
the whole
Stream didn't work.
Yeah, right, George is like, it's like showing George's computer. Whoever does it, nice.
Sure, one more thing.
All right. If not, I'll narrate.
Since the-
I love these 300 different options for these speakers. Yeah. It's like, wow, choose wisely. Like, you should just be able to plug one cord into your laptop and everything. Yeah. Everything should work.
No, it's not gonna work.
That's all right. So this isn't showing you guys a cartoon version of our embers, but this really is realistic of how they can travel very far from the main wildfire. And like I said, most structures that are completely destroyed in wildfire, studies show that they're not actually caused by direct flames. They're started more so by embers. That's why that zone 0 is so vital. So there we have an ember trying to enter into a vent. And if we have the properly sized vent opening, even if it gets through some of that vent, it's going to break down as it gets into that attic and starts to try to spark things. By then that ember has lost the energy to conduct a full flame. So like I said, well, I wish there was one foolproof thing I could tell you to do to fireproof your home completely. Well, that's not out there. The more of these layers that we're adding of protection, the likelihood that you and your structure are going to survive a massive wildfire in your area, especially your structure. That's why these areas of defensible space and home hardening are so vital. So now what? Talking about it, talk to your neighbors, get their interest, organize it with them. And if you need, so you don't necessarily have to have somebody come out and present on Firewise, but if you would like to, you can contact me and I am happy to come to your Firewise community meeting and discuss what are the benefits of it, why do you want to get involved. So on a smaller scale, I'm happy to come to someone's home and do this same presentation to go over how can you guys make these changes to become a Firewise community. You don't absolutely have to have somebody there though. That's just an option for you. You can take some of the information we have. If you feel confident enough, you can start it on your own. Again, hold that little meeting with your neighbors, figure out their interest, plan it, figure out your Firewise committee, identify those roles and responsibilities, who's going to be your resident leader, and then open up your online Firewise portal, do it. Schedule that wildfire risk assessment. Again, we can come out and help you walk through your neighborhood, or you can do it with your neighbors. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people are super confident in it and say, you know, I really don't need this assistance. Me and my neighbors can walk through and figure out what do we need to improve on to reduce our risk of wildfire. But if you do need that, again, we are a resource for you. And then apply it. Put it on your Firewise portal application and then celebrate when your certificates come in. And then you can peer pressure Joe down the street who's not participating in Firewise. Hey Joe, look, I'm getting a discount on my insurance. And he's probably going to start joining you shortly after. And then real quick, I just do want to throw in the quickest that I've heard of a Firewise community being formed is about 6 weeks. And that's one that they pretty much were already doing Firewise reduction activities. They were already kind of formed and organized. They just did the formalities of becoming a Firewise organization. Most of the time it takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months. So do know this is a process, but again, we are here to help you and be a resource for you along the way. And then plan bigger than just your street and establishing your Firewise community, but not so large that it becomes overbearing or it's not successful, where people are getting left out. You want to make sure that it is a realistic community that you're looking at or neighborhood. And like I said, if a resident isn't participating, you can still continue to build your Firewise community. Those hours, that 1 hour a year per resident, again, somebody is probably doing way more than 1 hour a year, so they're making up for those people that aren't participating at this time. And Firewise USA is meant to foster a community engagement for homeowners and to be proactive when it comes to being prepared for a wildfire. Again, not as a compliance measure. We're not doing Firewise to shame our neighbors and, you know, to report them. You can report them to code enforcement, but as a Firewise community and Kern Fire Safe Council, we're not here to help with that. We don't support that. We're here to really just foster that community engagement, that community participation. And really, if your neighbor is preventing wildfire around them, that's safer for you, that's safer for your neighbor next to you. You're all kind of trying to push out that fire from coming into your community and tearing down your structures. Because, like I said, sometimes structures are more than, they're just not just a home. They're the place that you have these memories in. They have your lifetime within you. They're very important to us. So I would hate if I was that neighbor that wasn't participating or, you know, just had all these wildfire risks all around me. If I was that neighbor that was the reason an ember got to my home and set a huge fire ablaze in my community and took down other people's homes. So again, we want to remember neighbor to neighbor. We want to be there to support each other and foster that community environment. We're all living in the same place. We all want the same goals of living in a safe place. Next. And here's some resources for you guys, different QR codes that you can scan. But again, all of these are also available on kernfiresafe.org. Next. A couple more, and I'm happy to give you guys these direct links after the presentation. But again, they are linked on our website. Next. And that's all I have for you guys today. We'll see if Will has good luck with his presentation. But any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I don't have a question. You have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. Let's say you want to involve 20 homes, right? Is there any minimum amount of those homes that have to participate in the program?
No. So in theory, you could have 20 homes and really 1 or 2 people are participating. They're putting in those community hours. They're putting in 20 hours then. You can still proceed. But that's also why if we make it too large, it starts to get kind of too big to meet those requirements. But what we see is largely when people start saying, hey, we're doing this, we're moving forward with it, we're committed to it, you do start to see more participation after that point.
Have you seen like a percentage of discount average for insurance policies?
I don't.
I ask that question every single time.
I know I had a gentleman just last week telling me that I think he could get a discount of about 10%. I've heard someone else say they could get a discount of about 14%. So I mean, it just fluctuates. It also fluctuates on what your policy already existing is.
Isn't it also true that if you haven't been able to get insurance, if you participate, you will be offered insurance if it's a fair plan?
Yeah, so you should be able to sign up with the California Fair Plan, for sure, at the bare minimum. Yes.
In this community, when I moved in, which was over 30 years ago, it was mandated that everything be wood, including your propane tank cover. That has to be some kind of a drawback that a whole community of 2,000 homes are built of wood and have. Is that gonna?
So has that changed?
No, but the thing is, insurance companies are now saying, no, if you have to replace your deck or whatever, you need to put some other material up, but you're not gonna retrofit 2,000 homes to accommodate. Is that gonna cost us? Is it gonna give us less of a percentage? Are we even gonna be able to qualify?
I couldn't answer that because that's gonna depend on your insurance company, unfortunately. Did you have
I mean, I don't think that from a, like, talking to, I'm not a wildland firefighter, but talking to the firefighters in Kern County and at the Forest Service, having wood is not necessarily, Steven, you know better than me, but having wood does not basically disqualify yourself from having a safe house. I mean, a house that's like made out of a log cabin house is actually gonna be one that, in general, is hard to set ablaze. It's harder than if you have a plywood house with like veneer on the outside. So I would say that no, it's not gonna disqualify you, and I don't think that that's gonna get in the way of getting the Firewise certification and getting the insurance reduction. To be honest, the program's getting so big that they're like, it's pretty much you just gotta go through the process, get the certification, and they're probably not checking like that. The insurance companies are just gonna put whatever discount they have on it. So, long story short, no.
And like I said, that 3-year plan, like Firewise is not here to make your community perfectly, every aspect of home hardening is done and defensible space. It's there to encourage that and to build upon it. So like that 3-year plan of doing that, that's why, like I said, we're not expecting everybody to get to this gold standard, but those insurance companies are accepting, hey, they're making plans to make improvements where they can, they're making long-term goals, and they're putting in the efforts with those hours of cutting back vegetation and all of those improvements that you're making over time. Yes?
Now, how many hours as an individual homeowner would you need to get the certificate in the community? Is it the whole community?
So whatever your community is, like if it's 20 homes, you have to have 20 hours then. So it's 1 hour per resident.
Per year.
Per year.
Per resident or per home?
Per home, I'm sorry. So per residence. So 1 hour per residence or home per year. So if you have a community of 100 homes, 100 hours are what are needed.
I get it, okay.
Yes.
Do you know any of the home safe communities now collectively collecting money to do bigger work? I don't know if I said that correctly.
Yeah, could you?
So
rephrase that?
let's say I form a fire safe,
Uh-huh.
and we all agree to give $25 towards something bigger, and
Like hiring somebody to come,
something like that. Yeah.
like prune all the trees or something?
Right. Do you have any of your committees doing that?
I'm not sure about our local ones. I'm sure some of them are. As far as I know, it's not discouraged. Because again, if you hire somebody to come in and do that, because we know some people are not physically able to go out and do all of this work on their property. So yeah, you definitely hiring people does count towards those community hours as well. I believe they have a breakdown with the National Fire Protection Agency that basically it comes down to a roughly $30 an hour of work equates to that hour that they're looking for that volunteer time.
As a 501c3, can people donating to this pool use that as like a tax deduction?
So we don't come out and do those, like those individual home projects. So that would be among you guys to do that. Yes?
Yeah, are there any grants available if a community or 20 homes gets together to finance, fixing things up to meet the standards?
Well, there's plenty of grants out there, and I think Will can kind of touch on more like those larger scale projects and what we can do in areas to work with not just Firewise communities, but also like those fire agencies to determine what areas are larger areas of risk versus others, and how we can make more access to fire departments coming in and out during emergencies. So yeah, that's something, Will's probably more the subject matter expert on that.
I would say if you've got an idea and you think that we're always looking to go out for stuff, so if you want to shoot us an email with kind of some idea and some plan, and we can take that, and these grants are cyclical, they usually come up in cycles, and if we see one that say, hey, that could be a good match for so-and-so's idea, we can move forward with that. I'm not saying we'll get it, but we can at least attempt to do that, but it's best to just put that in writing to us so we have it. And then when the time comes, someone can remember, this would be a good opportunity.
And being a FireWise community beforehand to apply for a grant for something like that, that's probably one more thing that's gonna set aside your grant to be more likely to win versus another, because you've already proven that, hey, we're an organized community, we're committed to this, and we're making these efforts to reduce our risk. Okay, anything else? Well, thank you guys, and thanks for working with me through our technical difficulties.
And thank you, George, for fixing all of our stuff.
While we queue up Will's presentation, I'm gonna have Mark come up and, Mark Greco come up and talk briefly about CERT, PMC CERT.
He said,
Hi everyone, my name is Mark Greco. I'm one of the leaders of PMC CERT here. CERT, for people who don't know, is the Community Emergency Response Team. What we are those neighbors, helping neighbors that Kelsey mentioned. We're trained to be sort of an action group. So when there's a disaster or an emergency, we step up and we help people directly.
Folks, can we have quiet, please?
We help people directly, and we help organize, hopefully, more people going out and helping their neighbors. One thing we're also focused on is being there as a resource to educate people about fire, maybe more about evacuation than home hardening, but also sheltering in place or making a go bag. Anything that might help you in an emergency or an evacuation. You know, there's a lot of information out there, and if it's intimidating to you, just come to CERT and we'll sort of talk you through that process and maybe show you some examples of some of the equipment that we have and we carry. You know, when it comes to wildfires, another example is what we might do as CERT and as your community's neighbors during an evacuation. You know, we're focused on getting that word out, notifying people that there's an evacuation order or a warning, and then helping people who might be stuck at home. We all know that some neighbors have trouble with mobility, or maybe their car doesn't work, or any kind of issue. So if you think of yourself as somebody who might want to help your neighbors in a disaster or an emergency, or you're just a type of person that likes to be prepared, we're actively looking for more volunteers and more people from the community to help us help the community. So you can reach PMC CERT at pmccert.com, or you can email us directly at contact@pmccert.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Now we will have Will Eustace talk about the Wildfire Safety Home Assessment Program.
do you need me to add something?
Not yet. I'll
Okay.
I'll call up. So this is working. Okay, cool. Yeah, can I get this guy? Thanks. This is more of a free-flowing individual. Yeah, I'm here. My name's Will Eustace. I'm also with the Current Fire Safe Council. I'm a projects manager here, so I manage some of our grants. I'm here to talk about the Wildfire Safety Home Assessment Program. You may have also heard it called the HIZ program, Defensible Space Inspection Program. I like to go with this one because if you don't live in the wildfire world, this makes sense to someone. But it basically involves all talk about it. Good, next slide.
That's me.
That's me. Yeah. That's me. I'm a project manager here at the Current Fire Safe Council. You guys know about this. Kelsey talked about what we are. So we can probably go to the next one. Yeah. So what is the program? The Defensible Space Inspection and Assistance Program is designed to reduce wildfire risk and enhance community safety. Basically what the program is we will come to your house, we will do an inspection or an assessment, whatever you want to call it, on your house, and then we'll give you up a written report of what you all can do to help improve your house. Safety, both in terms of defensible space, so in terms of kind of the yard work portion of it, limbing up trees, removing vegetation, that whole thing, as well as the home hardening portion of it. So everything from the right width of your vents to the roofing, windows. Obviously, you can take it and do whatever you want with it. We're not going to check up on you guys to make sure that you've done it. We can try to help you find contractors or vendors to get the work done, but there's no oversight from our part. We're just trying to give you guys the agency to make your decisions and know how best to protect. Your home also, critically, we're not sharing this information with anyone. We don't report numbers back to the government about how many people have done it because it's grant funded. We're not sending anyone's reports or even much information about the report. Anyone, definitely not the insurance company. There's like a box that you can check if you want to share the information with CAL FIRE, but you don't have to. We don't encourage or discourage. It's just because they trained us to be inspectors and they want us to report back to them. But we give you guys the option whether or not to do that. Again, there's nothing bad happens if you say no. You're welcome to. The scope of work. So the program's only available right now from Lebec down to Pine Mountain Club and everywhere in between. The grant's funded for this area, so we're currently not doing inspections in the rest of Kern County, but we hope to expand so that other people, we are a county-wide organization. Yeah. So you guys obviously have heard about defensible space, know what it is. Just a little overview. You've got the first zone, the immediate zone, zone 0. That's 0 to 5 feet. That's kind of like a critical area. But also, it is legislated, but not enforced right now. So there's legislation, but they don't enforce the legislation about Zone 0. And then you guys are familiar with 2 and 3. That's like your general brush clearance. You get into the specifics, but if you get the report, you'll learn all about it. Why is it important? We talked about this. It's important because if you're not taking care of the space in and around your home, it'll catch on fire, and then your house will catch on fire. It's pretty much it. Yeah, you guys know. Yeah, we watched. This is just another video. It's very similar to the one you guys saw of things that you can do to make your home safer. Obviously, this one has hardscape near your home on the right. This is the wildfire repair one. Is the one that's not. It's just a time lapse showing. Yeah. This one is like they light it as if the embers have kind of lit the yard on fire already. You can see the fence is another thing. So these are all things that you'll get in the report, and they'll say, this would be ideal. This is what you have. Cost estimate, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's on fire. We could probably go to the next one. This one. We don't have sound, right?
No.
That's okay, I still remember my lines. Okay, go to the beginning.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. I'm Will Eustis with the Kern Fire Safe Council, and I'm here to tell you about our free home inspection program. Wildfire, no risk, cost, the whole thing. 5 easy steps. Step 1, sign up. You can sign up on our website, Facebook, or Instagram. Step 2, an inspector will call you to schedule an inspection. Does 2:30 work well? Yeah, 2:30 works great. I'll see you then. Step 3, an inspector will arrive at the agreed upon time and conduct your home assessment. I remember it all. Hey, how's it going? You can choose to, inspector will walk around your property. You can choose to walk with your inspector or not. Either way, you'll still receive your personalized home inspection report. He's happy about it. Step 5, take action. Take steps to reduce your wildfire risk today. And it's as simple as that. Yeah, that's it. You can watch it. It's on the website now. So the sign-up process is it's pretty easy. We just have a form. It's just like complete the form. It kind of lists your name, your number, your address, your email, and then one or two things about like general availability, just so when we're scheduling, we have an idea of what times to ask you or what days. Yeah, the second step, an inspector will contact you either by email or phone call, just to figure out what time. We'll probably send over a few time slots that will be out, and you can probably choose. If you're late on choosing, you won't have as many choices because someone else will have chosen the one. The inspection process, like I talked about, someone will arrive. One of us three, George, myself, or Kelsey, we're all trained inspectors now. We got trained yesterday. We'll arrive, we'll conduct it. They take between 15 minutes and an hour, which seems like a big thing, but they're quick if the homeowner doesn't want to ask questions, and they take longer if someone wants an explanation of everything. Whichever you prefer. And then we'll be, it's an on-site inspection, so we'll just be kind of going around the home. We've got an iPad, we'll be taking pictures of things for the report, so that you can actually see what the issue is. I know some of the language sometimes is kind of confusing, so we're trying to make that as easy as possible. Step 5, you'll get a report. So you'll get whatever your email was, you'll get emailed a link to a downloadable report that is personalized for you. And then potential follow-up. So we will try to provide access to resources, education materials, contractor lists. If you guys are interested, again, we're not going to set it up or do anything, but we will try to make it as easy as possible, or try to help you through anything if you have questions. Here you go. The report. I don't know. George, your thing's working well, right? Like if you click a link, we can see it. Okay. You gotta go. Sorry, it's the title card. This is actually what the report will look like. You can see it's got your information on the top. You download it. It comes in kind of like a link, and then you can download it from there. And then it gives you a summary of the issues. I've tried to break it down by cost. If you're going to do it yourself, I mean, they're kind of rough estimates, but just to give people an idea of what we're talking about. And then they're broken down by zones, so you can see, what safety hazard, future legal requirement, zone 0. And then George, you want to click on one of these so people can. So you've got it. Like what you should do on the top, right? And then an example of problem, and then an example of the proper condition. And George, you scroll down. This is like your home, right? So you have just to give the context for this. These will be pictures from your own house. In this case, I took them of my house. This is not someone else's house that I'm just showing up for the world to see. It's got these estimated costs. They're probably really bad estimates. I came up with them on myself. So as this goes on, we'll update this. But I just wanted to get a general thing. This is how it goes for pretty much everything. And a legal disclaimer. We can go back to the slideshow. So that's the report. That's what you'll get after you do the assessment. You'll get that sent to you. Who's this for? I mean, this is for you as the homeowner, and that's it. This slide is just emphasizing that we don't get anything out of this. I think you all probably know that we're not like here to sell you something, but some people don't. And so it's good to tell people, like, this is just for you, obviously the broader community, and protecting yourself and your neighbors. And information's not going to be shared with enforcement agencies, contractors, or anyone else without your consent. Community impact. I mean, we've talked about it at length. You protect yourself, you protect your neighbors, everyone's safer. I think you all understand that pretty well. I won't go into it too much. So you can see the map. Maybe this is more incentive to sign up because, wow, look at that, you guys are the green square on the map. This big map is a map of our programmatic coverage, so you can see. Only one little part that's green right now. We'll make the rest of the map green in time, but for now it's just you guys. can get an assessment. You can sign up in person today. I'll have a list. You can go on the website, fill out the form. I don't think the link's on Facebook or Instagram yet, but it will be shortly.
We'll be in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, Kelsey's our social media guru, so we can make it happen. Yeah. And all of our inspectors are certified through CAL FIRE program. It's called the Qualified Entities Program or something like that. So we go up, we attend a training, and we get a certificate. My certificate. Went all the way up to Susanville. It was very, very far for the training. But yeah, so everyone, there's not just like Joe Schmo showing up to your house. And then we go to the next slide. Yeah, this is the team right now. Obviously, subject to change. We could get more people if the demand was such. But it's myself, George. Also what's your current title right now? AV.
Right now?
Yeah.
AV.
Audio. Also of the AV club, and then Kelsey Taylor. So the three of us all work at the Fire Safe Council as well, and we're the three assessors. So if you see anyone else pretending to be us, let me know. And yeah, that's the funding source. So our funders, well, we have only one funder, the U.S. Forest Service and the United States Department of Agriculture, which is above the Forest Service. So the funds come from them. It's true, we are currently shut down, but the program will continue. So. And yeah, if you're interested about finding more, you can look the link, the link tree. You can go to the next slide, Ted. And then, if you want to sign up on your phone right now, you can just scan this QR code and it should take you to the link.
And this program, just to note, is active now.
Yeah, it's active now. Yeah.
It wasn't before, but it's live and it covers a whole mountain of communities from here all the way down to Lebec.
Yes, that's right. I've come here before and told you guys this is not an active program. The government shut down, or the grant's frozen, or you're working on it. But it is now. You can go up, sign up, and you'll be contacted for an assessment. And then I think that's. It's the same one. You can just scan this one. I made it bigger because I thought this was a good one to end. Oh, this is a good one to end on when we have questions. Does anyone have questions? I was going to say that. Maybe no questions because it was clear. All right. Steven, you got anything? You got a question? Yeah.
So I put a fence around my house 2 years ago, which is wood, which is required by the homeowners association.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I would say that you can have a wooden fence. But if I was to say like what you could do to mitigate that, you generally the thought is like, I forget the spacing if it's 6 feet, but just the part of the fence that's connecting to your house, does it connect your house? Yeah, that part, if you wanted to replace it with a non-combustible material like metal or something, that way like your fence could catch on fire, but it wouldn't catch your house on fire. That's kind of the recommendation for people who have that, and I think that that's a reasonable accommodation, but I mean, I get it. A wooden fence touching the house is like not as nice as, a metal fence is not as nice as a wooden fence, so, yeah. Anything else? No? Okay. Good.
And then, before we have Stephen go up, James, did you want to just touch on the Radio Safety Network?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is James Douglas. I'm with the Emergency Preparedness Committee, where I lead the emergency communications track, and I'm also vice chair. I do a few other things, mostly around radio. So, hi, I think I've seen most of you here in the audience, and probably seen most of you who are on camera here, so hello. So for those who don't know, the Radio Safety Net here in Pine Mountain Club is an emergency communications network. It is a backup form of communications for when everything else isn't working. The radio safety net did come out of the snowstorm of February 2023 when the blizzard caused all of us to be snowed in here for several days, and we lost cell service and electricity for, in some places here in PMC, over a week. People were unable to call for help, and at least one person did die here in PMC. The idea of the program is to have these simple, inexpensive GMRS two-way radios. This is an example of one. And a centrally located repeater to allow for real-time emergency communications. Now, this isn't just for snowstorms, even though this may have come out of a snowstorm. This can absolutely be used during a wildfire sort of situation where real-time updates are critical. You're not going to have time to log onto Facebook, get an update, or something like that. Like if you want real-time communications, with the ability to ask questions or something like that, then this kind of a communications network, I think, will be absolutely key. So we are working with the POA and with our CERT teams, and we're trying to get involved with other emergency response organizations to help to get you the critical information that you need. For more information about the radio safety net, please email us. Our email address is ep-rsn@pmcpoa.com. You can visit our website, ep-rsn.org, or come to radio office hours, which is from 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock in the evening every Thursday, right here in the Condor room. If you're here in person, we have a table right over there. I'm happy to ask or answer any questions you might have. And we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to get involved with the program. Yeah, maybe I'll just stop there, but thank you very much, and back to you.
All right, thank you. Okay, and now we'll have Steve Watkins from the Field Institute, Cesar Chavez Corps. He's going to come up and talk about the projects that they're doing in the Pine Mountain Club area under CAL FIRE grants.
Hey, once again, my name's Steve Watkins. I'm going to give you a little bit of a profile of me and who I am. So you guys work. I'm going to answer some of your questions you guys had just a minute ago. Like I said, Steve Watkins retired wildland firefighter for 33 years with Bureau of Land Management right here in Kern County. The last 5 years of my career, I was the incident commander of the incident management team for the federal government. So if you can imagine, the majority of the biggest fires in the state of California, the Creek, the Dixie, in August, I was incident commander of all of those fires. And I will answer some of your insurance questions because I can't now because I'm in litigation of the Creek incident. But also you brought up the Erskine fire. Erskine fire was one of my first big fires as the incident commander of the IA. I grew up in Lincolnville. Okay, so it was home and dear to me, and the two people that perished on that I knew very well. So those were always as incident commander you're very concerned of. But I will answer your question about your defense. I think it's most important to understand what Will was talking about, the zero barrier. That zero barrier is what the insurance companies are really looking at nowadays. Okay. They're really looking at zone 2 and 3. That zone 1, that zero barrier area is really crucial. What do you have bumping up to your home, up to your structure, that it is liable for ignition? Okay. If it's a fence, a wooden fence, that's going to probably ding you. If it's any type of non-perishable items, like not green, non-fire prevention items, wood. It could be plastic. Okay, believe it or not, in the Creek fire, a lot of those homes that were lost there, it wasn't just mainly wood products, it was plastic products. Okay. On the Dixie fire, the same thing. So that's something you guys probably need to be aware of. About that is that zero barrier is a huge thing, and insurance companies are looking at that. And that is why you've probably seen over the last, I would say, decade, a lot of insurance programs dropped in the state of California because of that. I think the governor's done a decent job to try to fix that, but I think there'll be more to come. in Plaza. Now we're starting to understand that with, the current fire-wise, the fire city councils and stuff like that. I was part of one of the first fire city councils ever. It was the Colonel Valley Fire City Council back in the 90s. Up there when I worked up there. Very, very, very interesting. I love what these individuals are doing over here. It's very important. And please take advantage of those tools that they're giving you. QR codes and stuff like that. There's a lot of information out there. They're just giving you certain nuggets right now. I highly recommend to do the research because there's a lot of stuff you can do just on your own that could help you.
Now let me talk a little bit about what I do now.
I am a director of the Cesar Chavez Environmental Corps that is stationed down in Bakersfield, which is a program that helps the underserved between 18 and 26-year-old adults to help them on a new journey in life. Help them, there's always a second chance or even a third chance in how they can serve their community. Okay, not just, and with that I run two divisions. I run a recycling division and a natural resource division. I retired. Thought I was going to get out. I got bored, right? And I wanted to get back to the communities I loved. And I'm a resident of Kern County. I graduated from Kern Valley High School. So I've been here for a long, long time. Okay, so is my wife. And with that is we help the underserved 18-20 get their outlet, get a high school diploma, create a career technical educational pathway, either all kinds, but one of them is natural resource, where we teach them the values of natural resource, fire protection, fire prevention, firefighting. So these individuals, now what we do is we go out through the communities. I have multiple projects, but right now I'm really concentrating here. I have a crew up in Tehachapi that does fire prevention behind the homes. Okay, clearing brush, doing field breaks, things like that. We are partnered with Kern County Fire Department. But up here, you've probably seen some of our cores. You've probably seen the vehicles driving around. It says field on the side. Okay, that's us. That's the organization I work for. They've been working up here for a period of time. And one of the projects, one of the grants we got was a CAL FIRE grant. And we got that back in 2024. Okay, 2023, somewhere in there. Like I said, I didn't start with the company until the end of 23. But as you also know, we got the grant, and it matures by the end of March of 2026, one of our grants from CAL FIRE. And then the first thing you say, well, why didn't we just start this last fall? And you're going to say, why did it take you so long to start? I'll tell you, environmentalists, right? Assessments. It takes time. CEQA, NEPA, all those things, all the environmental stuff. It does take time to get through the system. Like I said, the state has done a very good job to kind of get rid of some of the red tape to help us a little bit, but still, it's still challenging. So usually when we get these award projects, it can take up to 10 to 12 months once we get the reward to start because of environmental. Hey, we need to do those things, right? That's very important. We don't want to mess with certain type of habitats.
But with that, as you can see, the red is what we've completed.
These are field breaks, these are road junctions that we've worked on. That one there you can see up there on, and if you look at it here, it give you, this map is actually facing north south, is down the bottom part up. So that red line is going down into Windwolf's. Okay, so that road has been cleared and brushed. All the way down into the gates of Windwolf. Okay. You see the little red connected right there. The blue is what we're actively working right now. That's the fire road. You guys have probably heard. It's just right down the road here. Come around the corner. There's a gate there, and then it butts up behind the communities. We're actively working that right now. We're clearing that road and clearing brush within there. Okay, so that's one of the grants we got. We should probably be completing that project here within the next, probably a couple of weeks. Okay, and then we'll be working with the community on either TED, and they will give us another Georgia and find another area where we need to go to continue on working. Like I said, the grant's good till March of this year, 2026, excuse me, not this year, but this upcoming year, 2026. We've already achieved our goal of clearing 76 acres. That was the intent of the deal. Like, we're like, oh, we're gonna do more. We have the funds to still do, we have the crews to do this, so we're going to continue on doing that. Also, we have a second phase project here in your guys' community that have a grant, and hopefully we'll be able to start that within the next month or so, and it's the tree mortality grant, okay, that we got for the California Conservation Corps. And that's a grant where we can take trees and snacks, big trees, and fall in your guys' community that you need desperately to clean up because because we talked about fire embers. Those dead trees on the ground, fire embers is a natural conductor of spread. Okay, so our job is to go in, work with the community, find where those trees are down, or even ones we can take down safely within the community, and clean those up, clear them up. And then also give you opportunity to move that, cut the wood up so people can use it for firewood. Right? There's no limits. We can also do some chipping of that for people, some communities. We worked in Aspen, wanted some of that mulch. Cut it up and we can use it for mulch. Not a problem, we can do that too. So we will start that, and that one's good to go till March of 2027. Also, we just applied with up here in the Pine Mountain Club another grant, a CAL FIRE grant, to continue that work right there and other works, and also partner with the Kern County Fire Department. Okay. Thank you for the community up here giving us a letter of support. Also, thank you for the Fire State Council doing the same. We submitted that in early or mid-August, and we've been told it's made it to phase 3. Phase 4 is the approval. So we feel pretty good that it's going to be coming our way. And that one's supposed to be good for up to, my understanding, until 2029. So we'll be able to continue on working those projects. I also have other grants that we get for communities such as yours to do other projects I'll be working with the association with. So just a little bit about what we're doing up here. If you see us, we'll wave, we'll say hi. But our goal is to be outside that line, because we're outside that line, that means we're working. And we're doing the need that you guys want. Also, I said, back up real quick, I said we're partners where we have the California Conservation Corps, right, at seas. You've heard them. We are certified through them as a local certified conservation corps. Which means we're allowed to do these works. We're insured, all that stuff. Okay? I have a total right now 4 crews, 2 that do spike work for state parks. Believe it or not, you probably remember in 2020, Santa Cruz, the big OCCU complex fire that burnt a lot of stuff up there in Santa Cruz. I got a crew up there right now working in state parks and rebuilding their trail systems and cleaning all the old fire brush. They've been up there since 2024, January 22. We've been up there over a year. I have a crew that will be starting in 2 weeks down in Malibu. House Oaks Fire, remember that having jam. They'll be going down there working in state parks and helping their infrastructure clean up, fixing their trail systems, things like that. So I'm really involved in the restoration, I guess you could say, after the aftermath, but I really want to focus on the preparation and prevention part going forward. And that's why I'm investing so much time within your community now, and present, future, and beyond. So, and I plan to continue that here plan to continue in Tehachapi and Kern River Valley. Like I said, we have a project, eventually it's going to start here, hopefully in the next few months, with the Fire Safety Council that we worked on in the Tehachapi area and Park Flat area, road egress clearance and around the structures of that community. So we are very actively involved in anything you guys come up with projects that I'm hoping, and we've collaborated a lot about, we could probably partner with going forward. Okay, so just another resource for you. I'm excited to be here today. Because it's just a little, so I don't have a bigger PowerPoint for you. But that's just a snapshot of what we're doing for you in your community, and we'll continue on doing. And my goal is, even though they look at that, it's pretty small. I want to make it, I would like to call it spider web. That's what I want to make it. I want to make it look like a spider web. People go, that's scary. No, that's good. Right? In the fire world, in our community, we want to see a spider web, because that means we're doing what we need. Okay? With that, questions?
Yes, you're just working to the end of the grant, you don't have any pre-plans?
So yes and no. So we have multiple grants up here. Okay. Right now, I'm working on one grant because that's the one I have to work on until it matures or expires, which will be March 2026. Right. So we're working on that one. Believe it or not, we have completed the operational goal of biomass that we said we would check the box on and hit. We've hit that. But I still have money. Still have a lot of work. So we're going to continue. Then I have another grant. That is True Mentality I was talking about. That one's good till March 2027. And then we just applied for another grant up here. Plus I have other grants that I can work with. Now I'm talking with Will about Ted, about teacher. I don't know if you guys heard of Prop 4. It was on the ballot last November. It's money through state parks where communities can apply for and things like that to do the work. And then go into the system. I had a meeting with the other local chapters this week about that. It's supposed to become my Our understanding is associations like Fire Safety Council might be able to apply for a project that is already identified to our core to work in that community. Let's talk about tons of grants out there that we might have access to, or they might have access to, where we can partner together. To me, it doesn't matter where the money comes from. I hate to say that, especially working for the government for 33 years. But I will tell you, to me, it doesn't matter where the money comes from. It's what can we do with the money together collectively, right, to make our community safer. And I think that's the collaboration we're looking for going forward. It's that effort. Hopefully that answers your question. Yes.
What was the significance of investing in the red line in the upper right corner?
The red line. So Deshays Canyon, everybody knows where Deshays Canyon is. I've been on several fires in that community down there. It's eventually everyone makes jumping. Eventually that one right there is significant to me because it's only a matter of time. We have a fire that comes up from the valley floor. And it comes up through that deal. If we ever get a fire that comes through the lower part of Wolf's Reserve, that's a nasty canyon. And it's going to funnel away your system. Your local winds are up here because the channels of your canyons in geothermal warm belt. You guys, I hate to tell you, you are considered a desert climate. I hate to tell you, you're so close to the desert, you get influenced. So it's kind of like a heartbeat in these canyons. So you ever get anything established down there in that southern part, it's going to come right out. That was one of the deals we wanted to do that. But also to give fire crews access. Okay, so a lot of these things we're working on. It's not just clearing the brush to put a field. It's also open up areas where first responders can come in and actually get there safely to do the work. Because I can tell you, as commander, the one thing I always concerned about is, man, I wish I could send my crew down there. I wish I could send my resources down there and put that fire out, but I can't because there's no safe place. Because that road is unsafe. Right? That's what we're trying to do. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I hiked down there and it is a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, good thing.
And you know, like I said, I encourage you to work with your fire safety council and work with the association up here. Okay. And to identify areas that you might see that we're unaware of. Okay. In your guys' community, where we might be access road or something that's not identified, where we can still go in and do the work. I think that's very important. Or let us know what those are, so we can work with the Kern County Fire Department. Because I think the most important thing, what I'm more interested in my background, where I'm going, is connecting the dots. It's great what we're doing, but I need to also know what Kern County Fire Department's doing. Also need to know what the Fire Safety Council doing, so we can connect the dots and make that perfect spider web or fire ring around the community. Protect you. Any other questions? Yes. I love questions.
You said earlier something about working with the youth. Is this part of that program?
Yes, it is. So let me go back to that. Is, like I said, we help the underserved between 18 and 26-year-olds. These young men and women either had some challenges, foster homes, halfway homes, maybe went to juvenile hall, certain things like that. Our job is what we do is help these kids. If they don't have a high school diploma, we have a charter high school called EPIC, so from K through 9, where they can get their high school GED, and it's actually a diploma. That's what they're getting for certified high school. So they get that. We also provide them services. They get paid. So they get minimum wage. So it's a working experience. It's a 12-month program. Could extend up to another 12 months or 24 months. But during that time, they're introduced into a pathway, either, like I said, natural resource. I have two, recycling natural resource. They have natural resources where they learn about the environment. They'll go to school and learn about how to be kind to their environment and why it's important we're doing the work. They're exposed, they get firefighting class, they get basic 32 wildland class, they get chainsaw classes, so everyone's up there running chainsaw. They get the wildland S2, 212, sorry, it's been a few years now, but now. 212 class. Okay, so they get that, they get chain of command. Okay, they get human factors, which is very important. You know, human factors is where these kids is really understanding. And understanding human factors goes back to two. You can only really remember 5 things when, you know, in a crisis situation, and you always revert back to that. So strengthen those skills to understand what that is. So we teach them like learning skills, anywhere from sewing, cooking. We have barracks for them. Spike camps where these individuals go, they spike out. They literally learn. They get a kitchen. We provide them the food. They cook their own food. They cook for each other. They clean up. They stay in tents. They do school. He said, I mean, believe it or not, I got Starlinks. Where these crews are out, they're going to school at night. They're doing. Their teacher gives them 3 or 4 questions. Nothing big. But they get, as a group, they work together, 3 or 4 of them, and they're gone. They're gone for 8 days at a time. They're gone each Wednesday, come back on Wednesday, and then they go to class every other Friday. And what they do is they take those 3 questions and work as a collective group out there on the deal, and then they give a presentation. And the teacher then works on. So we're not just doing all these things, we're working on the public speaking skills, getting out in front of people. Okay, I always told they're not very good. I said, what do you mean that individual's not very good speaking? They're going, well, look at me. They're making mistakes, they're jitty, they're blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? Actually, that's very impressive because they went up there and took the opportunity, took the chance. So that's skills. Give them that comfortability to get out there, okay, and make decisions. We've hired several of those individuals. Have been hired through state parks. I've had 3 of them hired by Bureau of Land Management on their fire crews. I've had 2 hired for the Forest Service in Lake Isabella area. I've gotten 2 people hired through Kern County on their helicopter program. So that's my job. That's what I'm trying to do to give back. I've always told them the life journey of who I am. I started out as a working with California Conservation Corps on the Pacific Crest Trail back in '88. Right from the high school, went out.
So they'll grow up into one of you. They'll grow up into one of you.
Thank you. And that's what I told them. As Miss Commander was deals, when they came in, I'd always feed those kids. On our last day on the incident, I always told them about my career life path. I told them, don't you ever think you can't beat me. And we have the power. That's what I said. Giving back to you guys is so extremely important, but giving them the opportunity to give back to you, flat out honored from them. So.
Based on that, I have a stupid question, but.
There's no such thing as a stupid question.
We have in Kern County something like 7 prisons, and having worked years ago as an EMT on ambulance and whatnot, we got called out one night to a fire when I was just supposed to be riding along, and a bunch of inmates came with us and put out the fire, and I made a question about it, and he said, well, these guys have work programs so that they can, when they get out, like you're talking about, have a life. With all those prisons in Kern County, and I don't know the rules, so I don't know if a grant would even support this, but could you not put some of those inmates to work and cover more territory if you had that many manpower available that could work under a grant and do just exactly what you just described with the kids? Put them to work and let them earn their keep, or train to do something they can do when they get out of prison? That's a lot of manpower, 7 prisons.
That's a very delicate question.
I'm sure it is, but.
But I will say this. Yes, there is. But it's very challenging. They're graded on a level of the inmates that you see out there that fight fire. Once again, there's not a lot of them anymore. Believe it or not. Okay, there used to be for CAL FIRE, there used to be over 215 or 215 crews up and down the state of California, camps. Camp Owens, Owens Valley, stuff like that. They're just you know, as early release, and they're just not. How can I say this? Not potable. I'm not saying they're extinct, but they're expensive to keep running.
That's what I was
They're
thinking.
very expensive.
The ratio of deputies per inmates that have to be out with it.
But I will tell you, be honest with you, we've hired, in my past career, hired probably about 20 or 30 of those individuals. Okay, and they're low defenders, right? They made a mistake. You know, very low defenders are not, you know, or stuff like that, very low. And they just made a mistake and give them a second chance. And really what we're doing at our level, it's actually that's what the Youth Conservation Corps. There's 14 of us in the state of California. Over from Northern California or down south. Okay? That's where the lower source systems come to let's get them before they make one more bad mistake to get incarcerated. Right. So that's what we are. So believe it or not, I think that's what we become. That first line. But I don't come back. There is no such thing as a stupid question. I've never believed that. Okay. I've never done that. But I'm not. I always say, I'll say it like this. There's no such thing as stupid question other than question you don't ask. It comes back to bite you in the butt. It's a nice way to say it. Right. So I've never believed there's a stupid question. But thank you. Any others?
So if you look at that dotted line there.
Which one?
The the black one that goes from the Inviglio red line to the left to the golf course. That's like up top, below the northern ridge.
Okay.
Okay.
That's something like a fire road, but unfortunately there's like fallen trees and the POA actively blocks it at times. So would you think it would be a benefit to the community if that were accessible to firefighters?
Okay.
We talking
this one?
Yep, all the way back there.
Yes, I
do.
Why
couldn't we do that? There is no reason why we wouldn't do that next. Absolutely.
And that's,
I think that's most important what you guys are here today is collaborate, talk to your leads in your community, have them work with us so we can do that work. Go ahead.
Regarding fire mitigation, there's the area that is on the east side. So off, Yellowstone, behind Yellowstone, that was cleared, approximately 2004, 2005. And today it's terrible, with all the downed trees and so forth, and it really needs to be cleared again. Would you be, open to be doing that part of PMC along with the fire department?
Yes.
We're always going to be open. I'm never going to turn down anything. But I think also take some preparation and discussion to find out what is exactly where it is and what the true mission is to make sure that it falls within the template what we can do. Right, of our expertise and qualifications, I guess to say. But I'm not really familiar with that area. I know of it. I can't tell you like exactly where it's at. I couldn't go there today, but I've heard of it before. And that could be, if there was trees that are dead down and falling down, it could fall underneath that one thread I talked about, the true mentality grant. We might be able to work in that.
Because our house is where I live, it backs up to there, to that part of the forest.
Okay. So what I would do is work with Ted, get that information, and then when we get ready to start, then we can have an idea to start putting things on the map.
So Steve, that's probably tied into some of the grants that the POA's put in, that it's gonna require probably coordination with the board and the GM and that type of thing on what projects will be going forward, because there's probably certain things they can do and certain things they can't do, and then you have jurisdictional overlaps with the Forest Service and the fire department. So I think it's a prioritization. I know ultimately the Emergency Preparedness Committee's talked about having kind of a ring around PMC, kind of that defensible space. So that'll probably be could be a patchwork quilt at times, depending upon who it is. So that would probably take some sorting out. So that's probably a deeper discussion that we have with the EP committee and with Steve and the board and stuff on how work gets done and who does it and that type of thing. So.
It comes down to territorial, right? If it butts up to anything that butts up to federal land, if it stays within the county, land, SRA, state protected zone, right? That's what we call SRA or LRA. We can support and assist with Kern County or with the community. If it goes into FRA, federal, we number one, we have agreement with them. We actually do have an agreement with the Forest Service, USDA, and I also have one with the Department of Interior. We do a project with we're getting ready to do a project up in Sequoia Keys. So, but then again, you have to make sure we can do that, because then we have to follow federal laws. I'm not saying it's not doable. It's just sometimes it can be complicated. And it takes time. I think it's time. Sooner you recognize it, the better off you are. I'll take one more question, and then.
In this map, we're looking at winds south to north. That's kind of that canyon being protected. What about, it'd be north to south. What about winds that fires that come over Mount Pinos? Have you guys got anything working in terms of helping slow that down? Because it's a fire burning down into our community.
That's a great question, and we are collaborating. I know the Kern County Fire Department is, and I know the Forest Services, Spudgers. And I'm aware of those. Hate to tell you, I've been gone since October of '22, and I was familiar with those conversations. Back then, it's just very, very difficult to find certain areas where we can build off of. And you have to understand when it comes to projects like that, it's good to what we call put a barrier there to slow it down. And I think that's what we need to be looking at as our collaborative efforts. We were looking at big wins back in the day. And the one thing I've been teaching the corps up and down the state as well is the big wins are great, but they're very, very, very difficult to achieve because it takes more than one partner to pull that off. And when you bring in that diverse workforce like that, it can be extremely challenging between state, federal, and local resources to all see eye and eye. So I believe it's smaller victories, multiple small victories will equal a larger win over time. That's why you hear me say, let's connect the dots and do the spiderweb concept, because those will have value over time. Than just trying to do a big one.
I can speak to that a little bit too, which is that I can speak to the fact that the Kern County and the LP, the Forest Service, Los Padres, are actively looking at that. One thing that's hard about the south end of the community of PMC is that it directly abuts wilderness, which is a designation that the Forest Service has, which really, really restricts what they're able to do. So it's hard because, yeah, if it was like normal Forest Service land, it would be easier to get a project in there, but Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you really can't do much when there's a wilderness designation. So we're just going to have to work within, like, I think that the homes directly about that. So there's been talk about trying to go, like, basically through people's backyards, like right up against the wilderness area of the Forest Service, while still staying somewhere that we actually will be able to get the environmental clearance done. But yeah, there are discussions of that ongoing.
Any more questions? We got time, or you?
No, we still have some time.
Guys, you got more.
Going once? Hey, thank you guys. It's been an honor to be here this morning. Like I said, I have a very, very diverse experience in a lot of things. I know I'm on the Conservation Corps. I know I'm working up here, but I also have a lot of experience in wildland side and prevention and fire prevention. And some of the chiefs you work with in Kern County used to work for me at one point. So I like to say they're doing the best job they can, and everyone's doing the best job they can. Sometimes it goes turtle speed, and we just have to be understanding that. And sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. But I will tell you, I'm very impressed where state and federal agencies are with their wildland fire mitigation approach. Not just out on the ground clearing, but their educational side of things. But like I said, it's a big process, and it takes time. But I can tell you, in my time I've been gone for 3 years, I've seen a lot of good positive things happening. So you should be very excited what the future holds for you.
And I just wanted to throw in one more thing. We have a couple things up here at our booth for you guys, but It is starting to get chillier. The winter is going to be here before we know it.
And I do have a little
handout here for you guys on winter work equals summer safety. So it's a checklist on things you can do in the winter time to prepare for that wildfire season while we're kind of in the somewhat off season, if you will.
So that's
up here, and then there will also be some left here in the Pride Mountain Club,
the main
office. So if you guys are live streaming, you can come grab some of those too. Thank you.
All right, well, I want
Well,
to thank Kelsey, Will, and Steven for coming out today and presenting at our wildfire town hall. And I'd like to thank those watching and those that are in the audience. And again, if you have any further questions, just feel free to reach out.